Good morning friends. Today we are going to start with electronic product design. In the last lecture we have studied user centered design as well as man machine dialogue. Here we are learning different stages of electronic product design and definition of electronic product design. Electronic product design technology conception with design and enforcement electronic product and its accurate techniques. Means actually if you want to design a particular product, that product may be a bike product, then conception related to that bike product design to development comes under this particular subject. Product design and development is very difficult and the process which requires sequential effort of managing the product through various stages of development cycles. Now, there are 7 stages of product development. The first stage is development or creation of design approach. Second stage is research for feasibility analysis. Third is analysis to make necessary changes. Fourth one is development of product. Fifth one is testing the product. Sixth one is prototype. And seventh one is marketing. From product development, idea generation, idea creation, idea development, idea analysis, idea to product, product testing, prototyping and marketing, these are the few stages of product development that we will see in figure 1.1.1 product development cycles. As initially also I told you, new concept, then secondly research on that concept, then thirdly analysis of that concept, then development of that concept and testing of the product and prototype and manufacturing. These are few basic steps of product design. Let us directly go to man machine dialogue, which is first part of our unit. Now man machine dialogue and industrial design, under which in a first video also I told you that there should be a dialogue between man and machine. If you have designed a particular product, that product may be starting of a motor at remote place through a mobile. Suppose in agriculture a farmer uses a mobile phone to operate his motor which is located in the farm. That is one product. So that product should be user friendly and hence farmer should understand which button to press so that motor will start and which button to press so that motor will stop. So that operation is called man machine dialogue. So that dialogue, man and machine dialogue, should be designed by engineer and then after design is complete, illiterate person or user should operate through a keyboard. We have suppose 8086 processor is there. We are making a program in assembly level language. We are implementing in assembly level language and that assembly level program is run on a 8086 board which gives certain output. But that interfacing is called man and machine dialogue. But illiterate person, say for example farmer cannot make code of 8086, and hence he cannot make dialogue with machine. So what is our role as an engineer? I have to design such a keyboard which will facilitate only addition of two numbers. So illiterate person or farmers, if he press the button of addition, he should get output as addition of two numbers. That is what a man-machine dialogue is. Engineer's role is directly designing a code, and user's responsibility is to use that code directly. So that is nothing but man-machine dialogue. Technically, what is man-machine dialogue we will understand. A control system is an quality which specify the problem and subsist of to carry out some purpose, and it is combination of ergon means work and nomos means natural laws, which are derived from Greek word. As shown in figure, as shown in figure 1.4, man, machine and environment system is given below. Human operations are there, man-made machine is there, human operation means person is operating a particular machine. Suppose any machine which you are operating, you have a keyboard on that machine, you are operating that machine, and which program code goes to that machine, machine will execute accordingly, and which output will be resulted. Suppose if it is a drilling machine, we are pressing automatic CNC drilling machine is there, we are pressing automatic drilling operation, pressing it on, automatic drilling will happen, and corresponding output is nothing but a drilled output. That is communication between man and machine through a button or through a keypad is called man-machine dialogue. Another factor comes into picture is environment conditions. If it is a rainy season, if it is a 0-degree temperature, it may happen that whatever you have designed for room temperature may not work at that temperature level. So environment condition also matters. By considering environmental methods, environmental conditions, man-machine dialogue or keypad should be designed. This is what a man-machine dialogue and industrial design is. It is more elaborative with the help of figure 1.1.5, in which input is applied by operator and output will be given by the machine. So machine is there and human person or operator is there on the left hand side. Operator in a figure 1.1.5, operator is on left hand side and machine is on the right hand side. If suppose operator on the left hand side gets information from machine on the right hand side, information such as suppose a farmer is operating remotely through his pocket mobile and he is trying to start a motor in a dug well. In a well, what he will check? Whether there is water in the well or not, so that motor should not dry down. So he will check indication that whether that motor is having certain water or not. So performance parameters or performance information he will get whether water will be there or not. So it is sensed by sensor. One indicator will be there, what is water level. If farmer presses what is water level, automatically it will be displayed on the mobile phone. That is nothing but a sensory organs. Then accordingly he will take a decision whether he want to start the motor or he will skip to start the motor. He will take a decision. Now if you want to start the motor, what he will do? He will press starting button, that is operating organs, and action will automatically stop. The signal will go to motor and manipulation of elements will happen, and actual execution of the motor will start, whose output will motor will start in a farm. So that is what a input applied by operator and output will be given by the machine. That is what it is. It is for the industrial design. Figure 1.1.6 also shows that man-machine environment system as a closed loop system. The same is there, human operator is there who gives output to the machine, who presses the start button, farmer who presses the start button of the machine will start operating. Result will be generated by the machine, that is pouring of water out of well, and the same is sensed by the operator whether motor is started or not. That indication is given on the mobile phone of the farmer, that is feedback, and ultimately it depends upon the environment condition. So environment is at the top. Quality is given by result upon task. In this figure you will find that output is nothing but pouring of water outside the well, and task is to give water. So result, output upon task is quality, and performance is given by quality upon task. Next we will switch to user-centered design. Before that, under man-machine dialogue, we will have a manual system or semi-automatic system or automated system. Just before I have told you the example of a farmer which is automated system. We will switch to user-centered design now. The user-centered design is the process online, outline of the process phases during the product life cycle development, at the same time concentrating on who will use the product, how and why. User-centered design means user is at the center point, what is the requirement of the user, and accordingly we will design the product. What are the changes suggested by the user. Suppose while designing the automatic agricultural motor water pumping system, farmer demands whether I have to check whether there is water in the well or not. That type of sensor should be there. So designer should add that feature, is nothing but the user-centered design. So according to farmer, he will add the features in the automatic motor system, is one type of user-centered design. The International 1307 is the basis for many user-centered design methodologies. UCD, also called as human-centered design process, which is a framework of processes in which the needs and limitations of end users of a product, service or process are given extensive attention at each stage of design process. The product designer must be aware of the role to be played in the design. Hence, the product designer must satisfy following points. Need to be identified. Evaluation of own design. Analysis of requirements. Availability of good document. Estimate reliability and quality. Provide help in designing the training program to the operator. So, figure 1.2.1 is user-centered design, in which there will be a development according to requirement of the user. User is at the center, and hence by considering user's demand, design is developed. Then if there is any changes in the developed design or model, the research should be done on that model which is according to user's demand. So research to identify the needs. Concept, evaluate the own design. Design the interactive modeling and groups. Development, evaluate, design and satisfy the needs of the customer. Release the product for human use. This is what user-centered design is. What is the role of user interference or influence of user on the design? Suppose the user says, I don't want this type of design, I want another type of design. Designer has to change according to user-centered. Now, how we will check, how we will get information of a user's demand? That is through a feedback form. It is a continuous process, and it is given to the designer. Let us switch to next point, that is 5 elements of successful design. Up till now, we were concentrating upon man-machine dialogue and industrial design along with user-centered design. In a previous lecture also, in a previous video also, I have elaborated the same thing. That's why I am finishing it within 5 minutes. Now let us switch to next point, that is 5 elements of successful design. Good design always starts with understanding the basic elements of product design. System engineering begins with defining problem. No matter how excellent your capability are, the problem cannot be solved if you cannot understand it. Hence, definition is very essential in initial design purpose. Flow of successful design include customers, user needs, mission of regions of operation, constraint and regulation and standards. These 5 points are the process, not 5 elements, which is useful for successful design. Basically, 5 elements are given below. 5 elements are cognition, ergonomics, utility, image and ownership. These are 5 elements for successful design. Now this is a process of successful design, basic flow of successful design. Figure 1.3.1 shows basic flow of successful design. Now see, first is there is a plan the human centered process, that is customer. Plan this human centered process means customer should be at the center. For a successful design, plan according to customers. Suppose if you are doing marketing in a Wagholi and you will find that there is a huge demand to two-wheeler bikes in Wagholi area. So you will plan accordingly. What is the human-centered process? That is customer. Then specify the context of use, user needs. What is their needs? To get two-wheelers from the Wagholi area is a need, and based upon this need, product design solution or constraints should be found out. Means to design a particular product, to design a bike in Wagholi area, what are the constraints, what are the limitations, and how product should be designed, that should be considered under these 5 elements. Then point number 3, that is specify user and organizational requirements, mission of regions of operation. Once you identify that in a Wagholi area they need bike, then thirdly, while going for a design solution, product design solution, or before identifying the constraint, you have to go through another step which is called specify user and organizational requirement. On paper you have to find out what are the requirements of the organization. If you are going to establish a huge industry of two-wheeler, then what is the organizational requirement? That means machines, from where to pick up that machine. Manpower, skilled manpower, from where to bring a skilled manpower, and after identification of this, all these machine, manpower, identification of all these parameters, will go for design solution. By which way we have to design the product, that we have to see, and after that evaluate design against user requirement. So these are the steps with which we will design the particular product. Now in this point here you will find that cognition, ergonomics, utility, image, these are the 5 points of successful design. One by one we will see what are these 5 points. In a figure 1.3.2 you will find these 5 elements of human interface. According to, on the left hand side, you will find in a figure that on a left hand side there is user's view. On the right hand side you will find there is a view of an engineer, designer view, information form, function, sense and service. Now which are these 5 points? First one is conceptual model, that is cognition, ergonomics, utility, image and ownership. These are 5 points. These are 5 points of 5 elements of human interface. Okay. First one is cognition. Cognition means it involves the mental task and involves in operating the product and explanation of the product to the user. It involves in mental task. It involves mental task means, see, I'll give you. The aspects is referred to as the mental task to know about your product, or it is the process to gain knowledge and complete understanding. Cognition means getting knowledge of that product or complete understanding of the product is nothing but a cognition. Means initially we have to understand each and every step. So while designing, what we have to do? We have to understand each and every step. Without understanding, we will not go ahead. Then second stage is ergonomics. Ergonomics, it deals with the concerns of human factors, how it looks, or what is shape, height, weight of that product. That is nothing but a ergonomics. Human factor or visual perception factors which deals with ergonomics. This is successful, another second stage of 5 successful elements. Second element, first element is understanding of the product, thorough study of the product, that is cognition, which involves mental task. And second is ergonomics, in which there will be a size, weight and other visual parameters of the product is involved. Then utility means, utility is measuring to each use of product in different factors in competitive market. How much useful it is. Utility means how much useful it is. Image, that means image represents the style and look of the product. It is created based upon the user perception and operation. They can often enhance the ownership. Image means how your product looks in a competitive market. If your product is good in looking, then it will be sold. If it is a two-wheeler bike, its image or looking parameter matters a lot. So it represents style and look of the product. Then ownership, last fifth design successful element is ownership. Ownership is the level of commitment that a user exercises to use your product. These 5 elements are interconnected to provide a basic design of successful product. Next part we will see in the next